Hello, welcome to Moment of Truth. My name is Nadia Ashan and my co-host.
I'm David Chipodi.
And today we have the honor of having a panel of people. We're going to be discussing our journey, our college journey. So we have Dr. Prissy, and of course we have Patrina.
Hello.
So we're just going to start with Patrina is going to be our first person who's going to talk about her journey.
Oh,
Of course, she's the youngest.
I know, right?
Everyone to introduce yourself.
All right, everyone. So my name is Patrina, and well, I'm a team member of Empowerment Hour, which is Tuesday.
Yeah.
So today I'm a guest here.
Yeah.
But I am actually doing my master's now. I just finished my first year, so which means I finished college about 3 years ago.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. So if you're watching, our focus today is on college. So we really want you to watch us and mostly just find out what are some of the things that we have learned in our journey when it comes to college life, and what are some of the things that you wish you learned and you didn't get opportunity to learn. You can always ask us questions. You can call us at 240-200-9717, or you can just text us and we will receive your questions and we'll ask each other, and most important, we'll share, because this is opportunity to share. So Moment of Truth, watch us as we talk about our college journey. So,
Yes, Reverend Patrina, we are very excited to have you join us on our Thursday.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, so we're eager to know how your college journey was and how it started, and why did you even decide to go to college?
Okay. Well, I've always had a dream and a goal, and one of my goals was to pursue a career in the medical or healthcare field ever since I was young. So I knew for me to get there, I have to first go to college or pursue a higher education. And I'm never really satisfied or comfortable with just being where I am. So I said, just going to high school, getting a high school diploma and just stopping there. No. Just like, always determined to go forward and to get more than I have.
That's right.
So my college journey, I graduated high school back in 2012. So
You're such a baby.
yeah, such a baby, I know. Yeah.
it's a good baby.
I know. Yeah, high school back in 2012, and went to college like right away. The process to first get there, I was always, I think it was called the academic center on our school, and I was always there. Especially like starting my junior year, I was always like sitting in that office.
Wow.
And I promise you, like, I will never forget her. The lady that was in charge of that office, she got to know me. So it got to a point where it's like, even if I wasn't there, if she finds something, she will always let me know. So it's like, if it's a day where I don't come to the office, if there is like, any scholarship information or like, any opportunity, whatever, she will always will let me know whenever I come around. So for me, it was actually a great one for me to do that. And I would always just go in there, have lunch with her. Sometimes we just sit, chat. And she was kind of like a parent like outside of home for me. And through her, I got the opportunity to have scholarship before I went to school. So I think for my first year, going to college, I was on a scholarship. I actually applied for a scholarship, a Burtonsville scholarship.
Yeah.
It was through one of the Burtonsville clubs, and then I actually got the scholarship. So that took me to school, and then also my school offered me.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
My school offered me money. So kind of like my first year, I didn't really pay anything to go to school.
And
so
we're talking about the undergrad.
That was undergrad, trust me. And but for me personally, it was just like the school initially that I was going for, it was a private school. So I ended up having to go to a different school because after even my scholarship, everything that they offered me, I would have still had to come out out of my pocket with a lot of money. But then when I decided to choose the other school, I ended up going my first year for free. So That was good for me. Yeah.
So I think it's important
That's-
for people
yeah.
to know. Sometimes you say, okay, I'm going to this college. Your heart is set on it.
Yeah.
And then you sat down, you realize even the scholarship money you're going to give you will not cover it.
Right.
And sometimes you blame our parent, like you feel like it is the parent responsibility to pay for your college education. And if they cannot afford it, don't let that prevent you from really pursuing your dreams.
Yeah.
Right.
And finding other schools. I always tell people have your first, your second, your third
Oh,
choice.
yeah.
So if you can't go to your first choice, your second choice, your third choice are there, especially when it comes to tuition. Because
Yeah.
the tuition is
Yeah.
the break deal. The schools can accept you, but if you can afford to pay for it, especially the whole 4 year, they can give you the first year, but
Right.
college is not 1 year.
Yeah.
So think about it. If they give you money and it's only for 1 year, think about the cost. Sit down and do the analysis. If it's going to be more, just rethink about the school because you don't
Right,
want to start
right.
and then you can't continue, and that's not fair.
Oh yeah, that's actually a lot because I tell a lot of these young ones sometimes that a lot of colleges would they would tell you, oh, you're going to get money for free and stuff. But like after your first year's over, you have to realize that now it comes back to you.
Yeah.
If you're not
Yeah.
getting grants and stuff from elsewhere, then it's like your parents have to come out of pocket to pay the rest of it. So it's very, very important for you to know, like, for you to have much detail, like about the scholarships you're getting and the grants you're receiving and stuff like that. Some people are lucky where they're able to get grants for like, every single year. And some people, they just either use sports or like, let's say academic grants, like to go to school the first year.
Yeah.
So it's very important, like Auntie was saying, for you to like know exactly, like be financially, you have to like, sit there and think about it. Because the school I wanted to go to was in Maryland. And I've never really been a person who's like a fan of like big colleges. So that was one of the reasons why I chose that school. And the major I wanted to do was there too. So, but then it was just like later after sitting there thinking about it, I was like, if I have to be in state to pay that much money, then what's the point? Because at the end of the day, it's just an undergrad degree.
Of course.
And undergrad degrees sometimes will depend on your major. It's not enough. You still have to go for it,
Right.
like
Right.
with it. So I had to like sit there and have to like think about all those things. And even though my parents like were willing to like maybe my first year, pay the rest of it, but I was like at the end of the day, it's still 4 years. Like after the
course.
first year is over, even though they're giving me so much, this huge amount of money
Yeah.
for me to come there my first year, but then after that, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
They're not gonna offer me that same amount of money. So it's just really thinking. And there are a lot of great schools, like even in state, here and out of state. Like you can be out of state and not pay much, and you can
Yeah.
be in state and you end up paying more than
Right,
you're supposed
right,
to be. So
right.
it's just really, really
Right.
like asking, knowing, and just researching
Right.
to get the details.
And it really begs the question, is it, like a person has to really assess, and parents have to really assess the degree that the child or the person is getting in the undergrad level. Is it even worth how much money
Of course.
parents are
course.
willing to spend? Because a lot of times people, go through the undergrad program and really end up in a lot of something completely different.
that's
and then
100%.
yet you have this, student loans and all of this ahead of you,
To pay.
and then the job that you get, it's not even matching half of what you owe. And so, like you mentioned, you had to leave one school to go to the other.
Yeah.
So you were willing to let go of one school to go to the other because the tuition came out cheaper. And I think that is where a lot of times parents and children sometimes they hold on to it has to be the school.
Yeah.
And so no matter the cost, they're willing to go all the way, and then the aftermath, it's not so pleasant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things not in our community, but I think sometimes it can be in our community. Let's just say you say you want your child to go to Ivy League school, and you know for a fact that the Ivy League school, they got accepted, but you cannot afford it. Yes, they got accepted into it. Can we get scholarship? Can we get other means? If you see that you have to honestly say that you literally cannot afford it, then don't try to force it through. Because
Right.
sometimes we really try so hard to say, okay, my daughter or my son want to go to a private school, and you know the cost is so much higher than you can afford,
Yeah.
but you still try. And in the end, you really end up feeling frustrated with the child. It's not their fault. It's just you create a system
Yeah.
I want to look good, but are you doing it for the child or you're doing it for yourself?
Yeah.
So that's important.
Yeah, so moment of truth. Going to college entails preparation.
Of course.
And that's what Patrina is trying to help us understand, that before she went to college, she prepared. She took time to find out from the counselors what she needs to do. She was able to apply for loans. She was able to analyze and see how much she's getting and how much she needs to pay as school fees, and decide that with this tuition, where should I go so that I don't finish and then I have too much to pay. And what else did you do as preparation?
I mean, well, I still had to like take some money, like loan one way or the other. But compared to, I guess, like others, I would say coming out of college, my loan was not as much because, well, another thing too was like my dad paid out of pocket for some of them, and then the rest of it I used my loan to cover. Well, one of his things was he just didn't want me to come out of like undergrad with a lot of loans. So he tried as much as possible to cut down, like, you know, my loan, and I was trying as much as possible to be considerate because I have other siblings after me, so that he's not spending way too much money on just me, like, you know, in school. So that being said, I had to like go get a loan, and then he had to like, you know, subsidize like some of it. And then also I would say like being emotionally and mentally prepared. I was excited to go to college.
Of course.
Because I was like, oh, it's college, you know. I was just excited for it because I'm like, okay, this is like, you know, a step towards like, you know, what I want to do. But like honestly, I just didn't know what to expect. So it was kind of like I was just open for whatever was going to happen, and I felt like maybe I was just a little prepared because I took AP courses like in high school. So I kind of had an idea, like even though I think I would say like IB courses are like more college level than AP course, that still like kind of did prepare me as in, oh, when I'm in college, this is how much more I'm going to like, you know, be doing. So I say like I was maybe a little prepared, but emotionally, mentally, I just don't know. I was just like ready just to go to college. I just didn't know.
And I think it's important. Moment or two, as we're talking about preparation, I think most times people said, parent asks you, do you want to go to college? And you say, yes, I want to go to college. But are you really preparing yourself, both academically? Because if you didn't take the right courses, when you get to college, you will feel it.
Yeah, you will.
You know, if you didn't take it, if you didn't challenge yourself, you didn't take any AP classes, I'm telling you, when you go there, you see the coursework, you'll be like, I have to do all this, I have to do this report, I have to write this, you know, you feel overwhelmed. So while you are preparing for college, the courses are important. But most importantly, just getting your mind to know that your parents are not there to wake you up, to say it's time to go to school and all those, or to go to class, is always important.
So Na and Patrina, both either of you or both of you can chip in on it. So I had my undergrad degree in the motherland, and so I want either of you or both of you to share a little bit more about these college level classes that you're able to take in high school before you go to college, because in the homeland, we did not have that opportunity to take college level courses before you went into college. And so how does that work? And who can take those courses? How many courses can you take? You know, in talking about that whole preparation thing, and you know, do students have a choice to or not to? And how do you prepare a child to get a child ready for that to know that this is, you need to take these courses because they're going to help you in college? Because I'm not even sure how that works.
Well, for me, I would say that, well, in high school, around the time where you're about to pick your schedule for, like, let's say the following, probably the semester, not a quarter, because it's a semester. Yeah, for the following semester, your counselors sometimes look at your GPA. So they look to see if you are a student that can handle that. So if not, like, they would just put you in honors classes. So for me, sometimes I had, like, the choice of honors or AP. And I started taking AP classes my 11th grade year. So I think, my second semester sophomore year was when I started with my AP classes. And let's see. So so my counselor was okay with me taking it. Like, you know, she told me it's going to be hard. She kind of even wanted me to, like, wait till, like, my junior year to take it. But I took the first one. I only took one, like, my sophomore, second semester year. And then junior year, I kind of, like, started from there. It's a lot. It's heavy.
It is.
Wow.
You have to, like, because I would remember, and I was working to my junior year. I had gotten a job. So it's more so you come from you go to school, you go to sports, you have what practice, you go to work, you come home, and most of the time it's just staying up late, like to
Doing your
read,
homework.
to
Busy.
study, and like to do homework. And with AP classes, it comes with a lot of reading. It's not even just the work; it's the reading that's very, very draining. So if you're not a person who really like can sit there and do all of that, it's really going to be hard for you. But I say honestly, it's like the counselors, they do know your strength and your weakness. Sometimes you can challenge them to say, oh, I want to challenge myself, like to be able to take that. But I think now, so like maybe after I graduated, that's when I found out. But one thing too, I think now like they're doing is when you're in high school, you don't necessarily have to take the AP classes. You can actually take classes in community college
Yep.
that can prepare you for going to college. And also, by the time you get to college, you already have some college credit.
That is after high school?
No,
or
while you're in
you're
high
still in
school.
high school, you
Yeah,
can take
AP
college
classes
classes.
also can.
Oh,
Yeah,
simultaneously?
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, AP
Wow.
classes. AP classes
that's
sometimes do have. They can give you college credit. Like that means you have to take the AP exam
Exams.
at the end of the semester, and you have to. I think the score was between 1 and 5. You had to get, I think, 3 and above going before you could get a college credit for. And then also depending on the major of the school you're going to, some schools didn't accept AP like scores. So if your school didn't accept AP score, there was no need for you to take like
The exams.
the exam. But taking the class itself will prepare you for that. But like I think the good thing now they're doing is just I think it gets maybe either your junior year or like senior year. Because my senior year, I had half a day, and then I would do my internship like afterwards. So you can split up your day, even if it's not your senior. You can split up the day where you're doing high school classes, and then later for the other half, you go outside to a community college to do like your community courses. And I know a lot of students are doing that. And I think it's very helpful, and it challenges you a lot and prepares you mentally, especially
yeah.
for college. And I think going to college, that's the most important thing, being prepared
Right,
mentally,
right,
because you can
right.
have a lot of mental breakdowns.
Yes,
So.
and I think most important thing, and so this is moment to truth, most important is have the communication, because you know yourself. But most times, I know when I was in school, when I was taking the AP classes, I knew there's a difference between honors and AP classes.
Oh, yeah.
Because honors classes, you end up with an A. AP classes, you're playing for a C. And but the moment they can tell that you are doing with the honors classes, when you get an A, they know, and when you're taking a regular class, you get an A, they know. So there's a way system that goes into the people who are doing admission, that they know that yes, you took an AP class, they know you took an honors class, they know you took a regular class. So sometimes people have taken regular class all their life and they've got A's, and then the teacher told them to take honors class, they end up with a B and they're crying, and then they take AP class, they get a C and they want to quit. But as parents, sometimes, so because sometimes parents also play as a factor. They see that the child got a C and they didn't realize that that's the AP classes that the child got a C in. So then they started belating the child. The child will drop that AP class so they could take the honors class, and that defeats the purpose of challenging them to college, because in college you don't want to pay for a class and drop it because you're doing bad. You want to find ways in which to improve. So my challenge to you is, as a parent, try to talk to your child and let them know, when they are taking classes, if they're doing so much, they are doing better in honor classes, challenge them to take, AP classes.
Okay.
And remember that when they're taking AP classes, they may not end up with the A's that they are getting. They may end up with the B and C's, but it's because the work is the load is hard, it's more challenging.
But the
So-
C is still good.
Oh
If
yeah, the
it's
C
a-
is
if
still
it's
good. A C
yeah.
is good.
Okay.
On the AP scale,
Okay.
a C is still a great to get. If you
Okay.
can get better, of course you can get better. But when you get a C, in
So I
the
can see
AP
some
class,
parents freaking out.
Oh,
saying
yes.
that,
Yes.
especially when the child is used to getting A's, and then
A's.
all of a sudden the C drops, and you're like, wait a minute, oh, your grades are dropping.
Drop it.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes.
So it's important for the parent to understand
yes,
that. Yeah.
yes, a C is still good for an AP class. So just encourage them to find out what is the struggle, because sometimes the
Right.
struggle maybe they need to spend more time asking the teacher to explain
Right.
the content of the material, so they will have a better understanding. Because I'm telling you, in college the teachers have a lot of students, so if you haven't learned how to talk to them now, you're not going to learn when you
exactly.
get there. So it's a good practice for them.
And then one thing too I was gonna add was that when it comes to like the AP courses, like try to take a class that is interesting.
Of course.
A class that you're interested in,
you
because that you like, because that will force you to like study. and even though it gets like hard where you don't want to study sometimes because it's a class that you're interested in, you know, you would be more motivated even when you're tired or don't have the feeling to do anything. You'll be more motivated to do because you're just interested in that class.
Yep, that's true because I remember I took AP history and I like history, so I was
history.
okay with history. But I would not take AP chemistry because I know that would require more work.
See,
So
that would have been me, and the history would not have been me.
See, I took AP World and AP Psych and then AP Anatomy.
okay.
So, because I'm like I love science. So, AP Anatomy was my first one, and then AP Psych was the next one, and then AP World. I took 2 AP classes that same semester. I think it was AP Psych and AP World. It was not easy, but I survived it.
So you're here to tell your story.
So,
Yeah.
so this is Moment of Truth. That's your watch. If you have any question, we're just talking about our college journey because it is not the destination that is important. It's the journey itself.
Yeah.
So what helped you to get to where you want to go? That's what we are talking about. So
Exactly.
so if you have any question, ask us. But we really enjoyed the journey,
Yeah.
getting to where we wanted to go.
Yeah.
It has been a
Yeah.
trip.
Yeah,
so.
send us your own journey. Talk about your own journey. Let's read it out to the world. Tell us. So, what were some of your going to undergrad? What were some of your fears? Some of your expectations? Some of your worries? What were they like?
Well, for first I say, like I mentioned before, I just didn't know what to expect. Well, one thing I knew was it's gonna be a lot of work. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of work to do, and then also, I just you really don't have a set time or set schedule. Like in high school, school starts I believe 7 something, and they have to be there. So you had a set time where you had to wake up to go to school. But like in college, it's very different because your schedule is like so different. Today you might have this schedule where you start really early. Tomorrow you might start late. So it's just flip-flopping for you. Well, but like one of my worry was just like being away from my family because I'm very family-oriented. So it's just being far away from my family. And then it was also kind of like a good thing, bad thing because then I'm like, how am I going to be eating a lot of this African food? You know, like this Ghanaian food.
She was thinking about
Exactly, I was thinking about the food because, like, you know, I love
Food is
food.
important.
It was like, I mean, like, you know, my parents are not there, my mom is not there, so like I can come home, get food, take it with me, but how long is
will
that
it-
food gonna
Right.
last me? Exactly. And I would say like fears is just more so not knowing what to expect. It was just going.
Fear of the
And
unknown.
Fear of the unknown is one thing none of us like, and you know sometimes a bad thing where it can sometimes hold us back. But you know you just got to push through, and just like I don't know how these college professors are, and some of them might not even be nice to you or stuff like that. But people tell me I was a teacher's pet, and I know like I was in high school, but going to college is just if it's a class I interested in, really love. I begin to cling to my professors, and I have like 2 professors that to today I still talk to. So it was just that I just didn't know, and I think one of the things I did was talk to somebody that was already in college, and it literally kind of like brought me down a little bit, but still didn't. I was like, I'm gonna go, and you know, let everything just move straight accordingly. But one of the good thing too that was exciting for me was because I went to college with 2 of my friends. So that was exciting. I was like,
You already
well,
went with your
nice.
friends.
I was like, hey, I don't know what to like expect, but we're in this together. You know, I ended up rooming with one of them.
Yeah, just
like
a
our
support
first
system.
year.
Yeah.
But then we're both doing 2 different majors, so it was very different. Like my classes would start so early, and she doesn't have class till later. Sometimes it was annoying because I'm up getting ready. She's still sleeping. Yeah, she's still sleeping, but I was like, okay. But like, yeah, like I was mentioning, just the fear of the unknown, and kind of like being. Well, mentally I was a bit prepared, but maybe not to that high level, like I would say. Because I'm like, a lot of people say your first year is where, like, you know, you get to figure everything out. So don't be too hard on yourself. And yeah, I opened myself to have fun, to be able to study and do all of that. Because you go in your first year, they do so much on campus your first year to, like, you know, help you settle in. But then while you're settling in, just don't bring yourself down. Because college, your first year can easily sweep you off
Party
from like
all
your
year
goal.
long.
Oh yeah, it can literally sweep you off your goal, and yeah, that's just one of the things. I was like, I want to be able to have fun, but then I want to stay focused as well. And the school I ended up going to was 2 hours away. So since I wasn't seeing my family much, I was like, hey, it's good. I'm away from my family, to have fun and all that. But fear of the unknown was a big one. And fear of, like, probably procrastinating later because it's chillaxing. Like, you're not coming to class and teachers are asking you or turning your homework right now. But it's either you're turning the homework online or sometimes they have to take it there. So it's just being lazy. It's just you have that comfort to yourself where it's so easy for you to, like, get lazy. So
I think it's important for, this is a moment or two. We're talking about the college preparation and also being on campus. I think for me, I always tell people, if you can afford to be on campus, be on campus so you can have the whole experience. But if you cannot afford to be on campus and you have to commute, remember to factor into the commute time and study time, because when you are living at home, it's harder to study than it is when you're on campus, where you don't have to worry about answering to anybody by your books and your teachers. So we really want you to think about it. So if you cannot afford to stay on campus and you are commuting, just think about the factor that will help you so that you actually be successful when you go to college.
So, from that question, do you think that for parents who insist that their children should stay home and go to college versus those who, let their children go and stay on campus, do you think that those parents who want to keep their children home are cheating them out of a college experience? Like, because people talk of the experience. I mean, I don't know how. I think I'll be very upset with my parents if they didn't let me stay on campus. It was like the best. But I've heard this, like, and for most it is probably more of a financial reason. For some too, it's just the fear of just letting the child go and just be out of their sight without knowing what is happening. But is it doing some form of injustice, quote unquote, to the child? What does that experience really do for the person?
So I have to talk from my experience. So my college journey, I actually went to community college for 2 years. So I stay at home and commute back and forth. And I think it was really a great experience for me. I graduated at the age, I think I was 17. I wasn't 18 years because my birthday is in May. And we graduated like May 11th and my birthday was May 13th, so I wasn't 18 yet. But but I think it was the age and the maturity level. At 17, my parents were really concerned because when it was time to apply to college, I was 17. And so they were like looking at it like, 17 going away from college. If you can stay at home, it will relieve some of their headache and pressure of realizing that their daughter is growing away. But I think it was also, for me, it was a good experience. So a parent have to have that conversation with their children and realize if the child is matured and they think the child can handle that responsibility, that's fine. But the parents have to also be honest. If they are holding on because they really are holding on, then they are not being fair to the child. And if they, but the child also has to be, you have to have that dialogue. So moment of truth, you have to look at your child in the eyes and say, you know what, daughter, son, I'm afraid for you. So you can't go. You can't go. You have to go to the community college for 2 years, and then you can transfer. And then the child also have to look at the parents and say, you know what, I'm mature enough, trust me. But you have to be honest. If you look at yourself and you are not honest, then you set yourself up for failure. And I definitely feel like being that community college for 2 years really helped me so that when I'm in an environment, because the community college was smaller classes. It wasn't like, you go to a university where you have, 100 people in a chemistry class and you are just a number. The community college is like 30 people. It's like you're back in high school. So it was easier for me to deal with the teachers and interact with the teachers, and I feel more confident. So when I transferred to university, I was okay. And that is where you want your child to be successful. You need to prepare them mentally as well as physically and emotionally. So if they are not ready, you need to talk to them. So,
tell us about your first year and
Yeah,
just your
because
college
you
experience,
went, you
your
went a
campus
separate
experience.
route from
Yes. Freshman year.
You went.
Tell us
I was
about-
like,
I mean,
yeah.
mainstream, boom.
They drop you in, they say swim.
Like,
Exactly. Well, like I was saying before, it has its advantages and disadvantages. And like Auntie was saying, you have to really know your child. And also, I think it adds to like the growth because we're still growing up. So the experience kind of like has a way of, forcing you to mature in a certain way because your parents are not there. You have to force yourself you have to learn at this point, and you have to put the things you've learned, the foundation you were given into practice at this point because there's nobody there. So it's like, whether for you to divert from that foundation or not to divert, it's on you. And at the end of the day, you being away, it's your life.
Yeah.
So whatever decision you make at this point affect, who you're going to be. And for me personally, it's just I was away, and it was great because, I got to meet people, and I was able to step out of my comfort zone a little bit in terms of, like, being able to do other things. And it's not, like, I think a lot of things that sometimes hold parents back from sending their children to live on campus is the thing they hear about, campus is just all party.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not
It
always
can be
that.
dangerous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then it's not always that case. If you know your child and your child knows themselves, it's like I was saying, they have to build that life for themselves. So if they want to build a life of party for them, then that's their own piece of cake. Because at the end of the day, that's going to lead to the person you become, and academically to, are you going to be reaching your goals? So I was able to have fun, and at the same time, do what I'm supposed to do. It's you, the child. You have to know. First thing you have to know is, what am I here for?
Yes.
Your first thing has to be to get to your goal, no matter what you're doing. I was very, very involved. I was always attending school events and, wanting to join like e-boards and stuff. But the advantage too is like you have that freedom so much that you open yourself up to like so many different things. So I would say like, I ended up like going to parties like here and there. I was never really that kind of person. It was just like, if I'm going anywhere, it's maybe like church events or whatever. But I was able to do more. And then also it just opens your eyes to see some, like, the other side. Not necessarily like in a bad way, but like what other people are like exposed to that you're not exposed to. And I say for me personally, if, like clinging to some good friends. Because some friends will be able to like pull you away from your goal. Others have a way of, let's have fun and then let's get back to like our goal. I remember there was this girl that I met freshman year through class, and she loves to have fun. But then she was that one person that at nighttime, it doesn't matter, she would stay up at night to like, get things done. So just know yourself. Know the reason why you're there. Know your aim in life. Like, what exactly do I want to accomplish at the end of the day? And it's just the college experience is all fun. Like, honestly, it's fun. It's just, you just want to have the experience, just being away, just being on campus. Like, it just adds up to everything for you. And it's not always a bad college experience. You can make your college experience bad or you can make it good. It all depends on you. So I honestly say, parents, if you really can take your child to like a 4-year college, you can let them stay on campus. Just trust your child. If you can trust them, just let them be. Because there's some people, I think I met people where their parents are very, very strict on them at home. When they got to the campus, it's just, because of that freedom, they just got loose. And they forgot the reason why they were there. They got bad. And so sometimes you look at it like, you being strict on your child, like, trying to keep them away from everything, like, how is that really helping them? Like, this girl was smart. Like, I knew her. Like, it was 2 people, I'd say. They were very, very, very smart. But the moment they got there and they had that freedom, because they didn't have that freedom, it's kind of like they were slowly diverting themselves away from it. So like you were saying, going to community college and transferring there. Some people, because they're in community college and they're home, they're not having that experience. The moment they get there, they might start losing or start forgetting, like, the reason why they're there. It's not like completely forgotten, but they go to class, they do all of this, but it's not the motivation that they had before. It's not the same, because now there's a freedom for you to do everything that you want. So the college experience is great, and you have stories to be able to tell, just like I'm sitting here. You can be able to tell people like, something about, tell people things and be able to advise like those that are coming after you, like, what is it that I did that I feel like you shouldn't do? What is it that I did good that I feel like might help you throughout your 4 years of college? So,
some of the things I've heard about people's fears and expectations, and some of the legitimate ones have to do with roommates. Tell us about roommates. How many roommates have you had?
Yeah. So like I was saying earlier. So my roommate was my roommate was my friend
Throughout
No, so we went to, it was just first year and then she
First year,
transferred
met on
out.
campus,
So
okay.
our first year, we had the same, we were sharing the dorm together. But then how my dorm was set up was like, it was 2 dorms attached, and then the only thing that divided us was the bathroom. So we were sharing a bathroom with other roommates. And I had a nightmare with them because when it comes to cleaning, I'm very, very clingy with certain things. Like when it comes to especially bathroom and kitchen, I did not play with that. But like our first year, we were in a dorm, so I didn't really have to worry about that. But they were like, the 2 females that I had were, they honestly just didn't like to clean. And it really bothered me a lot.
You did all the cleaning.
My roommate and I, because we were both Ghanaians, like in there, and then the rest of them were not Ghanaians. So we had like inspections, I think once a week or stuff. Sometimes we had a specific date.
Oh, you had inspections
In
in college?
college?
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
we had.
Who inspected?
Is the
Also, we had like our residents.
Oh, residents.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, we
What
had
do they call
that.
them? Resident?
Resident assistant.
Assistant. Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So we had
Never,
that.
that
No,
never
no.
happened.
Really? Yeah. So like in my dorm.
If they're doing their job,
Yeah.
if they are doing
Oh,
their
yeah,
job,
if they are.
doing their job, that's what they're supposed to
We
do.
don't have
It's
one.
health and wellness, so they have to do
It's
that.
supposed to be part of it. So it's
Yes.
like, because I lived in an all-girls dorm. So like we had a specific date. A specific day where they'll come for inspection. Sometimes they don't go by the date; they'll come randomly.
They
So
have to.
I was very like, and like my roommate and I will always clean the bathroom no matter what. We just didn't care if it was inspection, not inspection. But then the others were just like type people where they will always be rushy when it was inspection. They didn't really clean well. Like they would just spray the bathroom, wipe things here, and it bothered me a lot because
Interesting.
I remember I've gotten in like arguments and almost got in a fight with my other roommate once because of the bathroom. And one time I actually reported to get in. I actually reported, and she actually didn't like sharing bathrooms with us. So one of them left, and then they brought another one in. Well, it was 2 of them. One person, my roommate and I both had a problem with. The other person, she was okay. And then the new person that they brought in was even worse. Yeah, so we had to survive through the other worst one for a whole semester. And yeah, it was just like back and forth all the time. You guys need to clean the bathroom. We can't be sharing a bathroom with you where you're just dirty. Because for me, it's really hard for me to walk on campus. I see a beautiful girl walking around, and then I know the backstory. Like, you're not clean. Your room is dirty. The bathroom is dirty. And then you're dressed nicely, like, you know, looking all nice and stuff. So it's kind of like, roommate problems is a lot. Because my friend actually had a roommate problem, where it's just roommates either taking their stuff, roommates bringing people in without
Right.
telling them,
That's
like, you know,
made it up.
disturbing when they're trying to study or not giving them the privacy that they need. And some roommates are like very, very either just annoying. They just want to find little things to pick on. But I'll say even after my first year, I moved into an apartment, and it was like 5 of us in that apartment. We all got along, we were all cool, whatever. There was just this one specific girl in there that she just, But this one was like an apartment where we had a kitchen, we had everything. We had like 2 bathrooms, 1 big kitchen. Everybody that I lived with was clean that semester, except that one girl. And the worst experience that I had with her was going home for Thanksgiving. We cleaned the kitchen and whatever, not knowing this girl had cooked. And she didn't want to wash the dishes. She carried the whole dish and she put it in the dishwasher. Spring break was for a week or so. We came back. The whole apartment was smelling so bad. My roommate and I were trying to figure out exactly what it was. And then somebody was opening the fridge. Another person was going through the trash. We just couldn't figure it out. And I was like, let me just open the dishwasher. I open the dishwasher and I see like dirty dishes, and I just flipped. And this girl and I just didn't get along in the whole apartment at all. I flipped, and that was the day she called her mom. She said, I can't live with these people anymore. And yeah, she ended up moving out, and then it was just 4 of us for like quite a while. So roommate problems.
Why was there the need to move from the dorm to the
Oh,
apartment?
so like
I'm trying to understand.
So after first year, we first year we go into a dorm.
Okay.
Well, that's how my school was set up. Our first year was in a dorm. Second year going, you can either choose an apartment. We had a couple apartments. There were on-campus apartment, off-campus. I lived in an off-campus apartment, but it was still through the school. So like your
So
first year
it's
is mostly
covered under the
Yes.
room and board, you know, from the state fund. to
Yeah,
the federal
exactly.
fund.
Mhm.
Okay.
But then some people
Wow.
get a apartment like by themselves where tuition will go and a refund check will come in. They'll use that to pay for it. But I did one where it was through the school, so once
Gotcha.
they pay for my tuition, they will still the leftover money, they will still use that to pay
Gotcha.
for
Okay.
my apartment because
Okay.
I just didn't want to have the stress of dealing with
That's
the bills and all
nice.
those things like myself. So.
Yeah.
We didn't have that.
Yeah. Talking about the bathrooms, I'm very surprised because we had janitors, so we didn't have to clean.
Oh no, you have to.
So
No,
they
you
came
had-
in every day to
Yeah.
clean. So if it's not clean, you just call and report that the janitor
Oh no,
was
no,
not in.
oh no. So if it's not,
So-
so let's say from us, like if they come for inspection and you're not clean, you get a bill. So you get billed for
And then
keeping
they'll-
the place dirty, and then you had to you still had to clean even though you have a bill. And
Oh, wow.
me personally, I just didn't want my parents to get the money report home and then they see that there's a bill because the bill will clearly say it on there. You're getting a bill for this and this reason. And I don't want my parents
glad
yelling
I
at me
didn't have
telling
to
me,
do that.
I'm getting a bill
Bill
because
for-
you didn't pay to
quite
clean the
interesting.
bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh yeah.
Ours was set up just like our regular schools are set up where janitors come in, they clean the bathrooms and
wow.
everything, they leave. That's how it
Yeah.
was set up.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
interesting.
So that was
So the concept of apartment is like when you are in your second and third year level, they feel like you are more mature and you can live out of the campus environment and be in an apartment where it's much like you said the kitchen. So when you live in an apartment, you don't have to purchase a meal plan. You know, when you live
Yeah.
in the dorm, you have to purchase a meal plan. But when you live in an apartment, you can choose to cook your own food. So by the time you are junior, senior, or they feel like you can cook your own food, so you don't need to be in the dormitory for them to feed you. And most times when they come to the apartment, like I had horrible experience throughout when I lived. Horrible. I'm telling you, I never had a peace. Every time I've moved somewhere, somebody have either stole my stuff,
Oh, wow.
have roommates who smoke and they tell their parents they don't smoke.
Oh,
So then you are in
gosh,
a room and they are smoking and they, so they wake up all hours of the night, have boyfriends over.
Oh, man.
So yes, I've had nightmares of experience. So the
Wow.
most important part is really to talk. When the roommates does not work, you change, and sometimes you move from frying pan to fire. So you change and you go somewhere else and you have a bad experience. But the goal is to communicate with your roommates and let them know what you won't tolerate and what you will tolerate. And so people know, I don't tolerate this, I don't tolerate that, to the point where they feel like, so what do you want? I say, I just want peace and quiet. That's it. So you have to talk to your roommates and let them know. Even when they started getting all in your face, you still have to let them know, this is not what I want. I'm paying for this room and we are sharing. And if you are not doing the right thing, I will report you. And they
Right.
will
Wow.
like you.
So you do not have control over
Who you choose.
who is in the room, even in the apartment.
No,
No,
Um,
it's a school system.
Yeah.
that
It's,
does
yeah,
that.
they just
Kinda like
bring
what we
anyone
used
in.
to also.
But I think one thing you can do too
Yeah.
for my apartment was, if let's say a friend was in this type of apartment, you were in another type of apartment, and you wanted to switch, you can switch.
Okay.
But
you can go together to a different
no, not together, but let's say I'm in apartment A and my friend was in apartment B, and maybe that friend didn't like apartment B, and they wanted to move into my apartment. If I liked where they are and I wanted to switch, I would
Okay.
just go to Residence Life and tell them we want to switch.
Okay, so with the understanding
Yes.
between the two
Yes.
of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or let's say my friend got a place with another person, they just don't know that person. And then that person knows somewhere that's in the same apartment that I was supposed to be in. You can switch
Makes
so you
sense.
can be with the person that you're with. But with the apartments, you just have no control. They just put anybody there.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Because the school system are dealing with names, and so
Yeah.
they look at the names and numbers and then they go from there. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah, it's
have
kind
to
of like
be,
the motherland. That's how they do.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
You don't have a choice.
unless
Unless you
it's
know
three of
somebody
you
and you
and
decide.
you match to.
Yeah, you match in together. You're like, we want to
Exactly.
be roommates.
And then but one good thing that I had was I think 3 of my roommates, we actually every single year renewed the same
Oh, that's
apartment.
good.
So we kind of got really close together. And good thing is, I think for ours, one thing I realized was they match you up with people that are in your major. So it's different levels. So I was a sophomore. And then I had I had 2 juniors and 1 senior. The senior left and another person came in.
okay.
So it's different levels. So we were all in the same major. And but then the 3 of them, I really got close to them because every single year we renewed the same place over and over and over again.
good.
So
Yeah, I was lucky in the beginning. I had my cousin as my roommate.
oh wow, that's
But
nice.
as we get along, we had other people, so it wasn't just us. Sometimes the room that we in the dorm, they had 4 or 5 other people, so you really are not by yourself. But it was always good to have my cousin as my roommate, and we survived each other. So. Yeah.
Awesome. So when we're talking about
interesting.
the college experience, all we're saying so far is that being on campus is a good thing because you learn to survive. You learn to communicate. You learn to problem solve without calling your parents all the time because they are not there anyway.
Of course.
And all that experience helps you when you go into the working world. You have learned how to do these things. For example, I remember I went to high school with somebody. And high school, she was just all over the place. She was like the most popular person. You know how some people are?
Yeah.
And not popular in a good way because she's causing trouble and all of that. And then I met this same person in high school, and she was different, totally different. So she had learned some lesson that she was putting into place. And you'd be surprised. Some of the very, very well-respected people we knew in high school, they came to college and they were all over the place. But hopefully, after college, they would have learned something comparing high school life and college life and deciding what they want to be in the real world, right?
Yeah.
So I think that holding people back and holding your child back just because you don't think they are prepared enough will not be the best. How about you help them prepare, you know? Because you can keep them under your wings forever
No, you
unless you
cannot.
have a plan. Like, okay, I'm keeping you for a year or two and then allowing you to go. You can keep them forever.
no, you
gotta
So
let them
let's
know
work
at some
on preparing. Yeah.
Yes, you can't. You
Yeah.
can't. And I believe now it's always better to start earlier than later.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
You know, start looking at your child. Like she was talking about cleanliness. I'm telling you, if your child is not cleaning their room now, they go to college, they're not going to transform.
Yeah.
So you need to start helping them out because you are preparing them for the real world.
Yeah.
And it starts with just making sure that they do their laundry, fold their clothes away, and not put it underneath the bed and all those things. Cause
Charity does begin at home.
of
It
course,
does.
of course,
It
of
does.
course. Because you want them to be successful
Yeah.
when they go to college. So.
And I think sometimes it's just the parents, like, their own fear. That the child may not have, like, any fear or whatever, but it's just they feel prepared, but then it's just a parent's fear of feeling like, well, they themselves not prepared to let their child go.
Go.
That
Yeah.
causes them
They're
to
the ones
hold
holding
children.
on.
Exactly, and that brings, like,
Freak out.
yeah.
But it's okay to freak out. As a parent, it's okay to freak out. But just remember that child has to succeed. And if anything happened to you, you want to sit back and say, I have prepared my child. And trust God will take care of them, but you need to do your best to prepare them for the real world ahead. And the world is not going to be gentle with them.
Yes.
So please don't be gentle either.
Yes. Thinking about preparing for school, did you feel like the church or your Christian life, you were kind of well prepared
Played
to
a
stand
role.
strong on campus? Or how did that go for you?
Personally,
What were the ups and downs?
I say it's the foundation that I got from my home. I honestly cannot really say much how the church prepared me. It was mostly like my foundation because, like, even when I diverted from my Christian life, I was, because of the foundation I had, I was able to find my roots and, like, pull myself back. And I think definitely we, the church, we need to do much better for preparing, like, the children, like, when it comes to going to college and, just putting them out there, because when you go to college, you see so many different things. Like, you see things completely different from where you're coming from. You can be, like, from a good Christian background, but you can easily, if you let yourself go easily like that, you can easily just join other things that can divert you away from your faith.
Right.
So I think the majority of them, it's on the parents. Like, you have to do most of the job of putting that strong foundation in your child, and then the rest comes back to the church.
Strong foundation. What do you mean by
Like,
strong
as in, like, growing up, like, teaching your child about the word, like, just letting them know about the word, prayer, like, go to church and all those things. Because if they grow up on that, no matter how much they divert from their Christian faith, one way or the other, they find their way back on it.
That sounds like a scripture. Train up a child.
Yeah,
way,
exactly.
never depart from it.
Exactly. So, because like, home always clicks back. Like, it doesn't matter how far you go, home will always click back to you.
That's
So it's just, if you have that foundation of growing up in a Christian home, having that Christian background, you can always find your way to come back, because you realize, okay, what am I doing? Like, what I'm doing is not benefiting me. Like, at the end of the day, it's just going to lead me to where I need to go to, like, after I'm dead. So it's just, they'll find themselves. And also, I say personally, it's just surrounding yourself with good people and friends that kind of have the same belief and the same background like you. And I think And just being involved like in like Christian stuff will help you because you need that community to be able to grow. And whatever background you're coming in, everybody's coming in with a different Christian background or foundation. So all of us together can be an encouragement to one another. We can help each other grow and build on that thing. Like, you know, we're like a magnet that tries to like pull you away from like going or experiencing like, you know, what everybody else is doing. And I think sometimes too, we end up diverting because of the fact that we just want to go and experience.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what other people experience because we're not used to or we haven't experienced that. Like, just growing up in the home that we're coming from, the church we're coming from, we have no idea what that is. So we just want to have a taste of something. And for me, that was what it was. Just I just wanted to know what exactly it felt. The curiosity, and that's one of the things like I think parents get scared about, letting your children go. You get curious about so much, and you just want to find out for yourself. But it's just training your children, like as the Bible say, if you train them well, no matter what, like it will always be ringing at the back of their mind.
They always come back.
You know, the word will always be coming to them.
And I think also having that communication with them, calling them and checking up on them.
Oh, yeah.
Some parents say, oh, my child is in college, and you wonder, have you checked up on your child? When was the last time you talked to them? You know, share a scripture that you are learning. Now with Facebook and WhatsApp, you can even WhatsApp them the message that was taught at church and ask them, did they go to church? Because Sundays is still church. They can be going to church in Kansas. They can be going to church in Maryland.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Did you go to church? You know, make sure that you really enforce the things that, this practice that you practice at home. Because if you left them to their own device, believe me, they are going to be out there.
Oh no, that's like that's really true because what was I even going to say? I think I just lost my train of thought. I think you made mention of something that really just drew my attention back. Calling and checking your children. It got to a point, my dad even knew my schedule, so he knew when to call me.
Of course.
And sometimes it gets, like I would say it was a lot because he was always consistently calling and checking on me. But it got to a point that I realized the importance of that.
Yeah.
Like having your parents call, checking up on you. Sometimes you don't want to do something, but just you hearing their voice, them like, you know, pushing you to do something will let you do. Because there are some days I actually didn't go to church on Sundays, you know. But then it was just like, I was just so used to going to church on Sunday that when I didn't go to church on Sunday, it just felt like, what am I doing? Like, you know, type thing. But, definitely right. Calling your children, checking up on them is very, very important.
Yeah.
Because you can't just go and leave your child on that campus and expect that they'll be fine.
No.
Even though they might they have gotten to that point of being mature to take care of themselves, they're still not able to take care of themselves. They still need to hear your voice. They still need you to be telling them this, that. It's not like you commanding them to do this, but just that voice, so like, you know, in their mind telling them, okay, because at one point it might feel like, oh, when I was home, my parents would tell me this. So that voice always, like, you know, will remind them about something.
Reinforce stuff.
Reinforce things to
And
you.
I know my dad. He would drive to campus, and everybody know my dad. You know, every weekend he turn around and daddy is coming with food. Like you talk about food.
Oh, yeah.
He would do grocery shopping, just drop the food on campus for us, and everybody knew him. So sometimes it's just you need to make sure you are part. Yet you are part of your child's college experience. It's not just the destination; it's the journey. So in a moment or two, we want you to be part of that journey. So at the end of it all, you remember that it takes a collective family to really get to where they want to be, and they won't forget that. But if you leave them alone, you end up being distant. When they come back, they cannot interact with you because you have left them alone, and they cannot connect with you. Yes. So please call them, visit them, but make sure their college journey does not exclude you. So.
Talking about parent involvement, what do you have to say to some parents who have not been to college, and so they have so many fears because theirs is also the fear of unknown. It's like they haven't been there, and you are going, and they don't know what to tell you, so that makes them fearful. Do you have anything to say to parents like that who might be watching?
So I will always say, ask. You know, talk to your child and ask, and most importantly, don't be afraid to tell them, I'm afraid for you. You know, because the child will be like, okay, mom, don't be, like, they will reassure you. But if they don't know what your fears are, they cannot reassure you. So talk to them. What your concern may be, okay, the environment, your concern may be stuff that they can really assure you about the security of the place, about the environment, the courses, the teachers. So whatever your concern are, address it to your child and let your child hear you. Because sometimes when they hear you, then they'll be like, you know what, I need to call my mom every day because she'll be worried about me. I need to text her because if she doesn't receive a text from me, she's afraid for me. But if you
Right.
never tell them what your concerns are, they cannot really help you to alleviate some of the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say like just like what you're saying is very important. Acts, and it's not even just asking just your child. We're in a church. We're in a community where there are parents who've had children go to college before. You can sit down and have that conversation with them to figure out how they handled their child being away, what they did that helped their child to be successful, even themselves, like be able to overcome the fear of their child being away. And there's always somebody, there's always somebody that you find that has gone through that journey that your child is about to step a foot on. And like Auntie said, I feel like we come from an African home where parents really don't do well of telling their emotions to their children because they don't want to come off weak like to their child. But it's okay for you to explain things. It's okay for you to express your emotions to your child. That kind of like puts in some type of like, okay, it makes the child one way or another feel that, okay, like you're saying, I should also be checking in with my parents, letting them know like what's going on, how I'm doing and stuff like that. Because even though like my dad was consistently calling me, there are sometimes like I would just text him just to let him know I'm okay. And he wouldn't call me. But if he hasn't heard from me all day, then he's definitely going to call me before he goes to sleep. So it's just that moment. It's just we have fears. They have fears as well. So it's always good to talk to somebody else, even if it's not talking to a parent. You can talk to maybe somebody in the church that went to college before. Maybe have them sit down with you and your child together and talk to them. If you don't want to do that, then you go sit down with that parent and just talk to them. And very important, talk to your child. That's like the most important thing because they're the ones that are going to be away, separated from you. So.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
So this whole month we're just going to be talking about college experience because we know school is going to be open soon and our kids are going to go to college and we're really excited. Congratulations to the graduated class of 2019 as they go to college. We're really excited. I'm proud of you guys and we want you to be successful. So the only way to be successful is to really set you up for success. So watch, ask questions, but most importantly, be involved.
Amen.
Be involved.
Amen.
So.
Man, thank you so much for staying with us. We are glad you stayed. Before you leave, though, tell us if you did a college tour before you went to college, whether you did it with your parents or with some friends. Did you do it with your church family? Did you do it with your school? Just share your experiences with us because that might help us and other people reading to get ideas of what to do. Over to you.
Okay. So we really want to just end with just some of our sponsors. So we want to say thank you to Aisha Dice, our sponsor Aisha Dice. They are really part and parcel of us, and we really want to say thank you. Also want to talk to Lean Foundation
and Ministries.
and also Ashan Collections. And we also want to see to Delatec, our sponsors also. Because, and of course, if you want to be our sponsor, call us or text us or, really want you to be part of the community because the goal is to make sure that our message get across, but also to make everybody aware, moment of truth, things that you are doing that you think is important, that you want other people to benefit from it. So text us with your opportunity, and we also want to sponsor us. So, and watch and also share.
Yes. Thanks to National Head Apostle Moakun and the Regional Head Apostle Seminole. Thanks to the District Pastor, Reverend Elvis Boateng and Mama Beaches Boateng. Thanks to our panel. Thanks to Miss Katrina.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, we've had a great time. We hope to have you sometime soon. Okay.
Before I escape.
Before she escapes and go back to school.
Yes, yes. Until next week, same time on College Journey.
Yes.
Bye
Thank
for
you.
now.
And we have programs on Tuesdays also, which is the empowerment team.
Yes.
That's my team.
That's
the
part
team.
of. So watch both the Tuesday and Thursday program. We just really want to make sure our viewers get to learn. So
Yeah. God bless
you.
you.
All right, bye.